Hey guys, right here I have a 2015 Proton Iriz 1.6 Executive. And today I'm going to make a startup and full vehicle tour video of it, show you the features inside and out. So here is the key. Let's go ahead and start it up first. There are welcome lights as you unlock the car. The Iriz comes with an electric rack and pinion power steering system. The steering wheel on the executive trim is wrapped in urethane, and it does feature sport grips at the 10 and 2 o'clock positions, as well as black highlights on the bottom spoke. Buyers of both the Iriz 1.3 and the Iriz 1.6 have a choice of either a 5-speed manual or a continuously variable transmission as seen in this Iriz. Continuously variable transmission, or CVT, is basically an automatic transmission with an infinite number of gear ratios that allows drivers to have better fuel efficiency on the road and at the same time have a smoother drive. For the CVT, there is a low gear mode, and if the reverse gear is engaged, the rear parking sensors activate and a reverse camera shows up on the infotainment display. Safety features of the Iriz Executive includes 2 airbags, an immobilizer, ISOFIX child seat anchor points for the rear seats, and a vehicle dynamic control system that comprises of anti-lock braking system with electronic brake force distribution and brake assist, electronic stability control, traction control, and hill hold assist. As usual, let's turn on the hazards, lights, front fog lights, take a look at the engine, and roll down the driver's side window. The Iriz 1.6 comes with 15-inch 5 twin-spoke alloy rims wrapped in Silverstone Synergy M5 195/55 R15 tires. Brakes are ventilated discs in front and rear drums. For the suspension, McPherson struts and a torsion beam setup can be found front and rear respectively. Proton's Iriz B-segment supermini made its local debut on the 25th of September last year. The Iriz, which is an in-house developed Proton, was designed as a replacement for the Proton Savvy, which stopped production in 2011. It is also known with the Proton Global Small Car and Proton Compact Car codenames. The plan to replace the Savvy went as far back as 2010 with the preview of the Proton Urmas concept car at the 2010 Geneva Motor Show. Since then, multiple spy shots surfaced before the official launch. The Iriz competes with the likes of the Perodua Myvi, the Kia Rio, the Peugeot 208, the Honda Jazz, and many others within Malaysia's B-segment offerings. The Iriz 1.6 gets a new Proton-developed 1.6 liter dual overhead cams, 16 valves, naturally aspirated inline-4 petrol engine with variable valve timing. This engine produces 107 horsepower at 5,750 rpm and 150 Nm of torque at 4,000 rpm. 0 to 100 takes 11.1 seconds, and when equipped with the CVT, the top speed is 170 km per hour. With a 40-liter fuel tank, combined fuel consumption for the Iriz 1.6 CVT is 7.4 liters per 100 kilometers. The Iriz is front-wheel drive. During its debut last year, two engine choices for the Iriz were available, a 1.3 liter or a 1.6 liter, both new and both naturally aspirated inline-4 units. The two engines have either manual or CVT transmission options as mentioned earlier on. Three trim levels are available: the base standard, the mid-range executive, and the range topping premium. Standard cannot be had with the 1.6 engine, and likewise, premium cannot be paired with the 1.3 engine. Executive is the only trim available with both engines, and with all that information gathered together, there are a total of 8 variants for the Iriz in Malaysia. Exterior features of the Iriz 1.6 Executive includes halogen projector headlights, front fog lights, indicators on the side mirrors, LED rear lights, rear parking sensors, rear spoiler, body-colored door handles and side mirrors, black B-pillars and window outline, chrome strip on the front grille, follow me home lighting, and a two-tone body kit. You do have your speaker down there, together with a bottle holder and a bit of storage. Right up here you do have your mirror controls, window controls. The driver's side is automatic down only, and you do have your window lock right here as well. Right down here you do have a bit of storage. Pull this lever to release your fuel flap. And the driver's seat in this Iriz 1.6 Executive does get full manual adjustments. This lever controls your seat back, this lever controls your seat height, and this bar down here controls your seat position. Alright. So let's go ahead and see how she revs. The Iriz 1.6 Executive does get very simple air conditioning controls, with all of them located right here. You do have your fan speed in the middle, with your recirculation, temperature to the right with your air conditioning, and your different modes to the left with your rear defrost and your front defrost right here. Down below you do have a bit of storage as well as the vehicle's 4G dongle, which does come with the car when you buy it, and you do have a free 1-year subscription service. And down below you do have more storage together with a power outlet as well as your USB and auxiliary ports. To the right of the hazard light switch, you have the button to turn off the vehicle's stability control, and to the left you do have the central locking button. It is electronic. The Iriz 1.6 is equipped with an Android-based head unit with a 6.2-inch color touchscreen display, various media connectivity options, navigation, and 4 speakers for the sound system. I must say, for stock sound system, the speakers in the Iriz do sound quite decent. The display basically works like an Android tablet, so it is touchscreen and you do use your finger to go through the different menus. You do have your main pages where you can swipe left and right to go to your desired page. Down below, to the far right, you do have your Bluetooth menu with your Bluetooth audio streaming and Bluetooth telephone menus, as well as your settings menu down below. Next up, we do have your media menu with your USB, SD card input, CD, auxiliary, as well as internal storage. If you hit the internal storage button, you actually bring up an Iriz product information video, so basically tells you the features of the Iriz and whatnot. Next up, we do have your tuner, and tuner basically allows you to go to your FM AM menus, look at your list of available radio stations in the area, so on and so forth. Under navigation, obviously you do go to your navigation menu.
Navigation software. You are reminded to put on your seatbelt.
And you can search for destinations, search for your nearest Proton showroom or service center, your navigation tools, history, settings, home, and to go back to the main menu, just hit the stop button and you're brought back to the main menu. To the left, if you hit the top button, you do have your different so-called apps, so you can select your auxiliary, Bluetooth, brightness, browser, your sound system settings, equalizer, fader balance, your DVD player, calculator, and hit the home button to go back to the home menu. Next up, we do have settings, and right here you do have your wireless and network settings, sound, display, location, privacy, and all that. You can even set your car settings right here, as well as your instruction manual. And right down here, you can go back to your sound system settings as well. That's about it for the touchscreen. Right above, you do have your CD player. It is MP3 compatible. Eject button for the CD player. And to the right of the display, you do have your volume and power knob. And behind this flap, you actually do have your SD card slot for the navigation, as well as your media SD card slot. And that's about it for the system. front quarter windows. On the steering wheel, the left spoke houses your volume buttons as well as your on-hook off-hook buttons for the Bluetooth telephone system and your mute button. And on the right spoke, you do have your mode selection buttons as well as your seat track buttons. On the right stalk, you do have your wiper controls, and if you locate the button at the end of the wiper stalk, you can go through your multi-information display located within the instrument cluster. Right now, you do have your range, elapsed time, service indicator, brightness, trip A, trip B, trip C, your average speed and average fuel consumption, instant fuel consumption, and back to your range. Within that display right above, you do have your engine temperature and fuel gauge, and down below you do have your mileage and gear position. On the left stalk, you do have your light and indicator controls. The steering wheel in this car is tilt only. You adjust it using this lever right here. Right here you do have a cup holder, a bit of storage, a couple of cup holders for the front, and behind this flap you actually do have a couple of USB ports for charging your device. Manual dimming, rear view mirror, and you do have your interior lights right above. Sun visor for the driver's side does get a vanity mirror. All right. So I guess that's it for the startup. We can turn it off right now. And continue with the rest of the tour. You do have your speaker down there together with a bottle holder and your window control right there. I did set the driver's seat to a position that I would feel comfortable in. I'm about 5'7", which is about 1.7 meters tall. There is actually quite a lot of room to stretch out my feet underneath the driver's seat. As for legroom, I get about this much. And I get about this much headroom. It is actually not that spacious back here, but it is not that cramped either. I'm pretty sure there are more cars out there that are more cramped than this. You do have a couple of storage pockets on the front seat backs. No rear center armrest for this one. But You do get grip handles on the ceiling. For both sides at the back. To open up the rear hatch, go towards the rear hatch itself and locate a touchpad right beneath this portion right here. Boot space in the Iriz measures 215 litres with the rear seats in place. The rear seat backs and the cargo cover can be removed for additional boot space. To the left of the boot, there is a light that illuminates the area, and underneath the boot floor is the vehicle's spare tyre and jack. The rear doors open quite wide and an almost 90-degree angle, which does aid entry and exit into the rear seats. You do get adjustable headrests front and rear. And to fold the rear seats down, they do split 60-40. First, make sure the headrests are all the way down. Then, locate the buttons on either sides of the headrests, push it, and then flip the seat back down. You can move the seat belt out of the way if you did not want the seat belt obstructing you. You do have your storage area down there together with a bottle holder and your speaker, and right above more storage and your window control. The front passenger seat in this Iriz does get full manual adjustments as well. It just loses out on the height adjustment as found on the driver's side. You do get quite a big glove box for the Iriz. Front quarter windows. Grip handle for the front passenger. And the front passenger's sun visor does get a vanity mirror as well. Alright, so let's start it up with the door closed. Alright, so that's it for the startup and full vehicle tour video of this 2015 Proton Iriz 1.6 Executive. Thanks for watching and goodbye.